Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yes, it's still your host Olamide, and this is another episode of Tell Your Story. I told you guys that we're going to be ending the year with a bang because of the people, amazing people, great people that I'm interviewing. And as you can see in the previous episodes, it's been great. A lot of things to learn. So today I have someone special that I'm also interviewing. He also has a program like Tell Your Story, where he invites people to, international students to share their journey and to also pass information that could help international students out there. And he's also he's also an investment consultant at Crossbeam Venture Capitalist VC in United States. You will want to know a lot about him as we progress during this episode. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do. I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and all other social media platforms that we are present on. Thank you so much for your feedbacks. We really appreciate it. So let's quickly move forward to what we have today. Today I'm interviewing Shakib Jamal. Just like I said, he's a technology investment consultant here in the United States, and you will want to stay true to the end of this episode because he is going to be sharing his journey, and I'm very sure it's going to help somebody out there. So Sakib, do you want to introduce yourself out there?
Yeah, sure. Thanks Olamide for the opportunity. This is great. I obviously see the value in this and understand how helpful this can be, because like you mentioned, I have my platform as well. Yeah, I mean, I was born and raised in Bangladesh. That's where I'm from. I moved around every 2 years after being born there, and then in grade four, I spent 4 years in Burma, and
Wow.
it was there for had the opportunity to go to American school there, learn my English. Came back to Bangladesh for 2 more years, and then got a scholarship to go to boarding school in Hong Kong, and then got a
Wow.
scholarship to come to Cornell. I studied industrial and labor relations there. My dream was to eradicate child labor in Bangladesh, right? So that's why I studied that major. Ended up in
That's
finance,
good.
given the visa situation, and as we can discuss a bit more about international student struggles. And started my career at J.P. Morgan. I did investment banking for like a bit more than a year,
Wow.
and then switched over to venture capital, where we invest in fintech mostly, at a fund based out of New York.
Wow. That's great. That's really interesting. I like that journey, and you introduce yourself. Cornell University, that's really great. And getting a scholarship to one of the finest university around the country. I think that is really, really amazing. I know you're gonna tell us about how you got scholarship into Cornell University.
Yeah.
But one thing interesting I also want you to maybe quickly talk to us is that what you do aside from your day-to-day work right now, like you have that your about your program. Maybe you can just give us a little bit of what you do.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So the program is called the Capsule. So it's the core product is a newsletter. We send news, these newsletters, these emails out every 2 days, and it's 3 times a week. And you can read it in 3 minutes. It's a bite-sized newsletter that contains all the major news from South Asia. So think India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and also we feature Maldives and Bhutan from time to time as well. And yeah, and our Instagram is at read the capsule. So READTHECAPSULE.
Okay.
Would love for you guys to follow and check it out. We're trying to. One thing I realized, when we were when I was in the U.S. was that bite-sized content is taking up. Like, people don't have long attention spans, so you want to be able to educate and inspire and put out content for the next generation of consumers. But if you want to do that, you have to do it in short, bite-sized formats. And so that's
Yeah.
what we try to do at the Capsule. So our Instagram page is often full of, like, quick recaps of major news in the region, and you can just swipe. And then our newsletter obviously tries to cover the major news, all within a 3-minute read. So you can subscribe to the newsletter at readthecapsule.com, and then you can follow us on Instagram at readthecapsule.
Yeah, and one thing we'll be doing is that we're gonna post the. You'll definitely see the link on the notes section of this video, where you can also click the link and subscribe to that newsletter. I'm very sure it's gonna help a lot of people out there, and also you can connect with them on Instagram. We're gonna be putting that link to on the notes section too. That's great.
You can feel free to DM us on Instagram, and that's a good way to reach me as well in the future if you want to. And I think the Instagram is good because there's just so much. All the news that we see right now is very very much Western focused. So it'd be great to learn stuff that's from other parts of the world. Like if there was something like this for, let's say, Africa is huge, but let's say Western Africa or Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, that'd be awesome, right? Like you just get to learn more about what's going on in the world. And so that's sort of the spirit, right? To make sure that news is accessible from and focused on other parts of the world as well.
That's great. I like that. Yes. Now, I just moving forward again. You said you've been moving around like every few years.
Yeah.
How's that been? How has that affected you? How's that helped you to help you grow so far?
Yeah, no, it's when you're a kid, it's definitely tough because you get very attached to your friends, and then you have to pack your bag and move. I think a lot of army brats, all over the world. It doesn't matter if you're in Nigerian army or the U.S. Army. You can often share and empathize with how that is. Just moving every 2 years. But it did teach me a lot. It taught me a lot about adaptability, and it taught me a lot about making friends quickly and being able to sort of deal with uncertainty. Those things, I think those values and lessons that I learned as a child carried over with me, when I went to boarding school, when I came to Cornell. I had never seen snow before I came to Cornell, so it was and Ithaca is notorious for snow. So yeah, want to make sure that we are like we are like cognizant of all those things that affect international students. At the end of the day, we all talk about the struggles, the job stuff, but there's small things, right? Like a lot of us are not used to the food, or a lot of us just not used to the environment, clothing. There's just so many small things that I think affect international students, and we just don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. I another thing I also want us to I want you to talk a little more, and is what should be the mindset of international student, coming into school, coming into a different place. What should be your mindset? What should be something you should focus on or have in mind?
Yeah. That's a great question, and I think obviously it's different for everyone. My 2 cents is that you think about what differentiates you. Obviously your international background is very different, but like a lot of people try very hard to fit in, but and I actually think that's very important. Like I made an active effort to meet new people, meet new cultures, get it acclimated, and get used to the new culture that I'm part of. So I think in terms of mindsets, it's important not to just stay in your bubble. It's very easy if you come from Bangladesh, India, Nigeria, to just hang out with international students. And they probably will end up being your early close friends just because you share the same struggles and you understand each other. I think in terms of mindset, it's very, very important to embrace the diversity and embrace the fact that you're in a new place and you want to get to take advantage of all the opportunities. And on that same vein, like for example, Cornell has 7 different colleges in the undergrad, and I took classes in all 7 different colleges. I took classes in architecture, I took classes in agriculture and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing that international students should could focus on, and just try and take advantage of all the opportunities there are out there. Sleep a little less, go to that early morning guest lecture, and you never know how the dots might connect for you. So I think it's just very, very important to just put yourself out there as much, as be as plugged in as you can. Go to those recruitment networking sessions, go to those club networking sessions. Like, you might just meet your next best friend there. You never know. So just I guess the mindset is really, really be a go-getter. If I had to summarize
Wow.
it in one sentence.
Yeah, that's so true. Like being a go-getter, and I like what you just said. Like you never know how the dots are going to connect together, so you have to just try different things, especially being an international student.
Yep.
And that's so true. That's so true. Man, you were able to take classes from different colleges, different places.
Yeah.
But one thing about international students I've seen so far is that a whole lot of struggle, which there's a whole lot of struggle for us, and it makes us lose concentration of what is ahead of us. Like we are in a place like United States of America where the land is so green. Like coming from, especially for someone like me coming from Nigeria, where things are not so like the way they are in United States. Let me put it that way. How do you kind of balance those? Those moments, those situations go into your mind like, I need to go to classes, I need to go to this club meeting or this organization meetings, and however I still need to, work my 20 hours or so number of hours so
Yeah.
that I can get enough funds to pay for this and that. How do you maintain that balance?
Yeah, I think, again, a great question. I think a lot of it just comes down to having a mindset to work really hard. I had two jobs on campus throughout college. I was on a scholarship, but like the pocket expenses are still expensive, right?
Yeah.
Especially given the exchange rate. So I don't know. It's just been it's been it was a tough ride, right? But you start getting used to it. You start getting more organized, and it just comes down to a mindset. Like, be okay to work on a Friday night. Go, obviously have a lot of fun. Like, I can't stress how important it is to socialize, and because college is that one time that what many people don't realize is, like, these are just not your college time friends. These are probably going to be your lifetime friends, and you don't know what who's going to do what in the future. And if I knew that earlier, I'd probably go out to more things and be less lazy. So those are, I guess those are some of the things, like just being organized, having that mindset that, hey, I'm gonna work hard, and I'm like, let's be real, you're at a disadvantage as an international student. How do you make
Yeah.
up for that? You kind of have to do it with hard work. You kind of have to do it with smarts. You have to do the things other people are not doing. Go to that office hours. Take up that extra project. Take up that, go to that extra club. Be active. Tell your story. Like, these are hard things to do. These are
Yeah.
definitely not easy. You will not be. You will not have. It'll not be something that comes naturally. You kind of have to go grab it, in a way.
Yeah, basically you have to just go out of, yeah, exactly. I like that what you said. Just go grab it. Like you have to go out of your way, out of your comfort zone. Out
Correct.
what's so norm for you to do on a normal day and go get it. Yeah. So my next question is going to be like, so give us like your highlights, in during school. What are the things you, maybe one or two examples of what you did that helped you in your, even in transitioning successfully from school to your full-time career, maybe organization you join, maybe you
Yeah.
taking a leadership position, like some of those cool highlights that can help international students out there
Yeah.
on how to position themselves for what for after school?
Yeah, great question, and I wish someone had asked this to my upperclassmen, and I had this info when I was a student. But I think uh, a couple of things, right? Specifically for international students, try to use your network. So when I was recruiting at JP Morgan, what I did was I went on LinkedIn and I said, from Bangladesh, works at JP Morgan. There was only two people, and I reached out to both. One wasn't as responsive. One was super helpful. He helped with my resume. He'll help me prep, and he actually introduced me to someone who also went to Cornell, and that person really liked me, and that's how I ended up getting the interview. So don't be shy to use your network. You'll be surprised how many people from your country or your high school or your on like just crazy like the networks that you have that you don't even realize you have. So try to leverage every little bit. And even if you don't have those networks, it probably means you still have your story. So go tell your story. People appreciate that. People respect that, that you've put, walked through walls to get to where you are, and they're willing to support you and cheer you on. In terms of be as nice and kind and helpful to people. You just never know. I'm a big believer in like karma going both ways. You do good, that good comes to you. But I mean, that's the sort of philosophical, religious, spiritual thing. But the more practical thing is, you sort of collect social capital. If you help someone, you do something kind to them, they are kind of obligated to come and help you again. And in that sense, it's kind of transactional, but it's really, really important that that you don't make it feel transactional, right? Like you kind of like just do it, and you try to help people whenever you can. Like I don't know, man. Like if you see a friend who's the last person at the library at 2 a.m., check in with them, see what they need. If you have an extra yogurt in your bag, go give it to them. Like small things, I think go a really, really long way, and they will remember. And trust me, I've had people 5 years later come up to me and be like, yo, like, I'll tell you one story. Like this one guy, we were taking an exam together, and I borrowed his pencil. And I was writing. We took the test. I finished early. Test was like hour and a half long. I finished like an hour mark. He took the full time because he likes to like double check. I'm like one of those people who just like gives it away. And I sat outside for half an hour waiting so that he came out and I could give back his pencil. I didn't even remember this story. My friend, like, so we were at like a big dinner in front of like some some alums, and like it was like a big, it was like some big people there. And he said the story in front of everyone. He was like, oh, like that's how I knew this guy was a good dude. Like he took something from me and he waited to give it back. Ever since I really respected him. And I was like, what? Like I don't even remember. Like, and then I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, there was that one test my freshman year that I did that. Like, so it's like those kind of small things. You just don't know. You don't know how far you'll go. At that time I didn't even think of anything. It was just like my principle that, hey, I took someone from someone, they lent it to me. It's my duty to stay back and return it to them. And he noticed, he picked it up, and like he said it in front of some like pretty big people, and I'm still in touch with those people. And one of them was like, hey, if you ever start a company, let me know, I would like to invest in you. Like I don't think it was because of that story, but it definitely plays a role in their impression of you.
That's great. You just need to, while in school, just be helpful. You don't know, like, and you made mention of LinkedIn too, how you were able to like go to LinkedIn and search for people Bangladeshi that are working in that organization JP Morgan. So I feel like it's really important. I'm so glad. One of the things I'm glad about is the tool we have in this day and age, like tools like LinkedIn to that it can help out in putting us out there. People don't know the power tools like or network like LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us even don't know the power of Instagram. Like most of us just post pictures out there. Instagram could be a tool that could transform your life if you know how to use it. So definitely, I totally agree with you. Do you have any other thing you want to share with us? That really helped you, moving forward.
Yeah, I think those are some things. The other thing that sort of helped me was like to teach you, um, like like in the sense that if you take the time to teach someone else, you actually learn your concepts more. So when I was recruiting, I obviously like spent a lot of time studying basic investment banking stuff and like how things work, and like I realized that I only started to truly understand when I was trying to explain it to my friend and understand. So I think the other thing that's helpful is just trying like it all goes back to like just being a good person and trying to help people, and you'll see some unforeseen benefits, right? Like I feel like I became a better analyst, a better understood my financial concepts a lot better when I tried to explain it to people. That's another thing to think about. Like being a TA is amazing. Like everyone should try and be a TA. I used to TA 2 classes, and those are probably some of the biggest highlights of my time in college.
Wow, that's great. And I don't know whether your major was classified as or categorized as a STEM
It's
program
not.
or
It wasn't.
non-STEM.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my next question. Like, what would be your advice to non-STEM folks out there? Because most issues, like, okay, STEM folks have, and for those people out there that don't understand what I'm trying to say, and I'll break it down now. If you come into STEM, science, maybe your major falls within science, technology, engineering, or math, you have about 3 years after graduation to work here, and within those 3 years, an opportunity to for your company to file for your H-1B and probably even your green card after then. So that is the advantage. But for non-STEM, basically they have 1 year to just work. So what will be your advice for non-STEM majors out there? How best can someone thrive in that scenario?
Yeah, good question. I think three things. First of all, change your major to STEM. I wish someone told me this. I just made one of my juniors change his major to STEM, and he's been thanking me for like he thanks me every day. He's like, wow, I don't have to worry about it. So change your major to STEM.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. Go beg the college counselor. You have to change your major to STEM. And you can hack your way through it. Like journalism is categorized as STEM in NYU. I don't know if you knew that, but like it doesn't matter. It doesn't really have to be hardcore computer science or whatever. Anything that's categorized as STEM. It's gonna go a long way. I promise you that. That's one. Yeah. And then let's say you haven't, and you're about to graduate, and you don't really have that opportunity. The major thing I will say is start thinking about what your options are if you don't get your H-1B the first time. For example, for me, I thought about, okay, can JP Morgan send me to London? Can I do a master's? Can I do like different things here and there? So I think that's how I would think about it. I would sort of start exploring alternatives very early, and just hope for the best and prepare for the worst, right? Like that's the mindset.
I totally agree with you. I know it's really a hard thing. I have friends that they are non-STEM, and what they do, and I truly advise you, if possible, you can transfer to a STEM major. That's good. Number two is what you can do is maybe you study, let's say, accounting, and you're like, oh, that's probably a non-STEM major, and maybe it's undergrad or even masters. You can go back maybe after working for like 1 year for a master's program again. That kind of opens you up to the technology aspect of what you're doing, probably I think I know of someone that went back and do data science or
Yeah.
data analyst, and he was able to combine the experience from financial background and into what he's doing as data analyst right now. Because
Yeah.
in this day and age right now, whatever you're doing, you need technology to help you out. So why not just go back to school and learn something that can a technological part of what you're doing, so that it helps you to get a good job, especially as an international student. It gives you even leverage. Most
Yeah.
jobs right now, they're not just looking for business people or people that understand process. They
Yeah.
also need people that understand the technical stuff too. So I believe, I agree with you. If you
Yeah.
can do that, please do so out there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Everything you said there is true.
Yeah. So yeah, I think one other thing I just wanted to like you to share about is, you know, and I think you made mention of it in searching for full time opportunities. What are the things that you feel like you did that helped you out? I know you talked about LinkedIn. What are other things you did, and what's your advice for people looking for full time opportunities? Should they wait till like some few months before they graduate, or they should start
No.
applying for full-time position as soon as they know that maybe it's in their junior year? Or also what also let's also talk about internships too. What is the value of internships, and what are things to do to secure jobs like that?
Yeah. Couple of things. First of
I know it's a
all,
lot of questions. I know it's a lot of questions
yeah, no worries.
that I put together, but sorry about that.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries. Yeah, all very valid questions. I think the first thing is I'm not probably the best person to ask about full time recruiting, because I had my offer after my internship, before my senior year. So internships are incredibly important. Your freshman year, you're probably not going to get an internship that's going to transform into a full time offer 3 years later. But the
Yeah.
internship before your senior year is very, very important, and you should try and get it at a place that convert their interns into full time offers. So banks do
Yeah.
that, consulting firms do that, accounting firms do that too. But also, if it's outside one of those buckets, if you do go somewhere, try to make sure that it's a spot where they convert into a full time offer. I cannot tell you how much your life gets better if you go into your senior year with a signed offer under your belt. Like, that just takes away so much stress, and you can actually enjoy college your last year and do fun things, and do stuff that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's so important. Internships are the really hard ones. The number one advice that I give in terms of internships is join the right clubs on your campus. And I know some schools and I am cognizant that this advice may be valid to some schools more than others. Like, Cornell has a big finance network, finance community, and so there's a lot of
Yeah.
clubs to join. Like, I was in a business fraternity, Delta Sigma Pi, that helped me a lot. Crazy alumni network. Yeah, and then on the other hand, if you don't have those things, like, I think just lean on communities. I think the big theme is that you have your communities, and you try to leverage the network that you have from them to get your step in the door. But once you get your step in the door, make sure you're polished. Make sure you know what the industry is.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people send me emails going like, "Hey, can you explain what is investment banking to me?" Don't do that. Google it, right? Like, there's so many guides out there. There's so many resources out there. There's mergers and inquisitions. Like, I can name like a zillion ones, but do your homework. Be very prepared, and talk to them about stuff that, when you're talking to someone, try to learn stuff that only they know or they have like real world experience in. Try, like, the rule of thumb is I should not be asking or saying anything that I can just Google and find easily.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing. And then the other last thing I will say is, even if you're not looking for a job, just talk to people, get to know them. And you never, like, it's always easier to build a relationship first and then make the ask 2 years later, a year later, than, not then asking for a job directly, right? Like, now that we're talking, Olamide, like, let's say a year from now I need something from you, it's a lot easier for
Yeah.
me because we already know each other. But
Exactly.
if a year from now I cold email you and go like, "Hey, I need this from you," you're gonna be like, dude, who are you? Like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's a very important lesson that I tell a lot of people.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Hmm.
And I want you to talk about your scholarship to Cornell. I know you got it like probably when you were still in Bangladesh or out of the country. I believe so. I want you to tell us like what for people coming into like place like United States, what should your preparation be like in applying for scholarships in United States?
Yeah, so Cornell is actually a need aware school, so like you do have a lesser chance of getting in if you are asking for money. Some schools are need blind like Harvard, Yale, and all that. Um, try like one thing that I mean, I went to this boarding school, and they actually have a scholarship there, and I almost went to Middlebury because I got a better scholarship there. But I think one thing that you don't realize, like if you get in and the school really wants you and you tell them, hey, I'm gonna accept your offer if you can bump up my financial aid package XYZ, they will often try to connect you with people. So Cornell actually connected me to a Singaporean lady who was also a Cornell
Oh,
and who semi sponsored my education, right? So the whatever the bridge was, whatever that gap was between me not getting a scholarship, that gap was filled by this Singaporean lady. So
wow.
that's not something like I did anything for. I think what you can do is obviously be a good student, be like have a great story, your ECAs, like all the usual stuff about colleges. But I think the big I those are the things you should do. The other thing you can do is um, just maybe research other external scholarship opportunities, right? There are scholarships
Yeah.
for Indians, for example, the Tata Scholar. If you're an Indian watching this, you should totally explore how you can get the Tata Scholarship. I think they send two kids from India to Cornell full scholarship every year
Wow.
because Tata went to Cornell. So stuff like that. I think there are so many school specific ones that you should explore. And you never know. Like you hear them and you're like, it's so hard to get it. It's so competitive. You just don't know. You got to try.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for, sharing that, sharing that. And I believe people out there can also, go out there. There are scholarships out there. Searching for schools can be challenging. I was telling someone today that, searching for schools abroad is a job on its own. You just have to be determined. Don't go weary. You just have to don't grow weary. You just have to continue to like push on, continue to search for these uh, uh, schools and also look for possible scholarships too, because it's never going to be easy, especially for international students, and you want the best education at an affordable cost. You need to know how to go through, you know, those stuffs themselves. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, for all your advice. One final thing before we,
Yeah.
wrap up this episode is what would be your general advice to people out there, international student, people coming in? What would be your number one advice or things like you feel like you could have done even much better while in
Yeah.
school or while preparing to come here?
Things I could do better. Almost everything. um, but I think just going back to what I said previously, like put yourself out there, go to these talks, go to these networking sessions, go to these club meetings. Um,
Can never waste.
they like majority of your learning is probably going to be outside your class, especially if you're not like in a hardcore engineering program.
Yeah.
So like embrace that, and really like just really be kind to people. And it sounds such a generic advice, but like you'll see that when you're stressed and whatnot, like you'll be mean to people and whatnot, and you never know. Like I told you the good part of like the good story of the pencil story, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's been times where I've been stressed and I've like said mean things to my friends, and they remember, and they have a they're hurt by
Hmm.
it. So try to not do that. Try to empathize with people, and it'll go a long way, because when time comes, they will look up to you. They will know you as the person who's able to remain calm, who's able to show leadership, who's trustworthy. Your reputation is everything, right? And
Yeah.
so that's I think the one thing that I'll say, not just to international students, to everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sakib. Thank you for your
Of course.
words of advice and thank you for sharing your story. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you coming in. I know you're a busy person and I'm glad that we're able to have this interview together.
Yeah.
So thank you once again.
No, of course. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'm sorry if anything was awkward. It's a little tough looking at the camera at myself and talking. I've actually never done that, but happy to help further. Like you said, you can DM us at read the capsule on Instagram. And that's the best way to reach me. I'm pretty active on there. I usually try and reply to every DM. So
Yeah.
yeah, this has been great, and thanks for doing what you're doing, Olamide, and I hope international students have more resources such as yours going forward to to better prepare for the challenges ahead.
Yeah, thank you. There you have it, guys. I told you we're going to be ending the year with a bang, and I definitely enjoyed my conversation with Sakib. I hope you guys did too as well. And so, please, I want you guys to like, comment, and share this video to someone out there that might need this, just to encourage each other. And that's what we do. That's the whole goal. Yeah. And I hope to catch you guys soon. If this is the last time I'm going to be seeing you guys before 2021. I hope to catch you guys in 2021 because we're coming out with different form of interviews, and we're going to be changing the way we conduct our interviews or things we do during our interviews. We're going to be talking about even more specific into careers like how do you get into careers like, say, cybersecurity, say, data analyst, data science. What are the things you need to do certifications? We're going to be bringing people, international students, how they were able to, go into that field and build a career like that, such as a career around the various fields too. So thank you once again. Please don't forget to subscribe once again. Please do subscribe and follow us on all our social media platforms, just like you see on our screen right now. Thank you, and have a blessed week or year, the main part of the year.